Welcome to Cross Transformation. It's Mariam here, and today I'm going to be talking to you about how a borderline experiences love. In today's video, the points that I'm going to be talking to you about would represent what I experienced with that borderline mother. And I'm hoping that by sharing these points, somehow I would be able to contribute to your journey of healing. The first point that I want to talk about is where she was relative to the truth of love. You see, I believe that we need to understand where a borderline is in terms of their feelings relative to the truth of love, unconditional love. You see, we are all on the journey of returning to love, God's love, unconditional love. Many of us do have perceptions that wouldn't allow us to realize what unconditional love is. But when it comes to a borderline person, it's very difficult for them to identify where they are standing relative to that love, because most of the time what they have been practicing chronically is anger, rage, and sadness. So their dominant feelings are rage, anger, and sadness. And through those feelings that I observed in my mother, they are trying so hard to experience love. So to them, love is not what we know the truth of love is. It is to experience love through anger, through rage, through sadness. And back in time, there was no way to convince my mother that, look, you're feeling angry. That's not love. The fact that you're angry with me doesn't mean that you love me. You're just experiencing your anger, and through that anger, you're trying to tell me that you love me. That was very difficult because her experience of love was to explore and experience anger, rage, sadness. The next point that I want to talk about is the way that she wanted to receive love. You see, deep down, she was crying for love, but somehow she didn't want to receive love. It was really confusing that this person is fighting for love, yet she doesn't want to receive love. So she would be having a tantrum. And I remember I had to hold her and I had to say, Mom, just believe me, I really, really love you, I care about you. And she would be saying, no, you don't love me, I don't need your love, leave me alone. And it was like, but I really love you, Mom. But on her side, it was all about having that tantrum. You see, there was something with having a tantrum. She would be feeling calm after having had one. I remember back in time, I would be feeling very confused. I had no idea why she had to have a tantrum to feel loved, but at the same time, she would push me away because she didn't want me to love her. A very confusing situation. Crying for love, but not wanting that love to come to you. The next point was the compulsion that she had in her mind, that somehow she had to control me in order to feel love, because love was to avoid abandonment. Even when I wasn't with her, she was trying to find me, to reach out to me, to overcome that fear of abandonment. So her experience of love was to avoid abandonment. And lastly, we both ended up feeling isolated because her experience of love was to feel isolated. You see, as a child, I was feeling responsible for her well-being, for the way she felt. I didn't know that it wasn't my responsibility. That onus was placed on me, and it was unreasonable, because for such a long time I had to deal with guilt. You see, that relationship wasn't satisfying because most of the time it was unstable. There was fighting going on. We had more arguments than having a peaceful time. As a result, we both ended up feeling isolated because that was her experience of love, isolation. So it's good to understand where a borderline is in terms of their emotions and feelings relative to the truth of love. Also, to understand why they would be having a tantrum, the compulsion that they experience to control the environment, the people around them, because that would mean they won't be abandoned, and avoiding abandonment is the way they experience love. And feeling isolated, deep down, that feeling is how they would experience love. It is a very difficult situation if you are with a borderline, and I don't mean to label anybody. I've got compassion for people with borderline personality disorder because I know how it feels, because I was a child to a borderline mother. My heart goes out to you, and I hope that somehow you'll find your way back to love, who you are in God. And if you're a child of a borderline parent, I'm sending you love. I'm hoping that you also will find your way back to love. You see, we're all on a journey returning to the truth of love, the unconditional love of Jesus within us. May you be blessed. Peace be with you. Be at peace. Look after your precious soul. Hopefully you'll find today's video helpful. Look after yourself, and I'll talk to you soon. God bless you.